Hey guys, it's Robert Funk. I'm back again making another video for Facebook and YouTube. This time around, I'd like to do a quick book review on several books I've had the pleasure of reading. Quite knowledge-filled books. The first book I'd like to go across I hold near and dear to me because it's written by my father. It's called Along Pennsylvania's Lincoln Highway. It's part of a series published by Arcadia Publishing Company called the Postcard History Series. My father, throughout his life, he collected postcards. He had all the rare postcards, even the one-of-a-kind postcards of local, and pretty much everything you can imagine postcard-wise he had of the Weatherly and surrounding areas. And he took the knowledge and his expertise over all these years. He decided to share it, the wealth of his knowledge, with the public. His first book was called Around Hazleton. Now I have several copies. I'm trying to locate them because I've boxed books up in the process of creating this library I want to make in my house. Uh, we'll go over this one here. It looks pretty cool. I like the cover jacket design. You see, it's very artistic and creative. If I can get up close here, you can see the design is actually an old postcard for the book itself. Very unique and very artistic in my opinion. On the back here, it says the same thing. This is this is a gem to me because it's part of his legacy, and he managed to share some of his wealth of knowledge of history. Then the book here, we got what do we have? 127 pages, 127 pages of all along the Lincoln Highway, all the postcards you can think of, even the one-of-a-kind postcards. And in this book, my father wrote every single one of these, every single one of these captions here. You might think it's easy to write captions, but the man wrote hundreds of captions for postcards that, you know, it involved a lot of research. We'll leave it at that. See, chapter 3, he writes a little forward there, all about the Lincoln Highway, you know, particular sections here. See, I'd recommend this book to anybody who wants to get to know the history of the Lincoln Highway because the Lincoln Highway is actually, I think, the first continental highway from one side of the country to the other, if I'm not mistaken. So don't quote me on that. My next book I'd like to review here is called Vietnam, A Complete Photographic History. More than 2,000 photographs and maps. This book here, this book is awesome. It's a wealth of knowledge all the way to the beginning, from the beginning, when the French were there. Dien Bien Phu, the failure of the French military in Southeast Asia. The beginning, from when we just sent advisors over there to advise and assist, till we had full-on ground combat troops there waging all-out war against communist aggression. Uh, in this book, there's some very moving photographs. There's some disturbing images. Uh, it's history. It's important that it was captured like this, though, so that people can look back and say, this is what happened. And the amazing thing is, right now, there are still the Vietnam War veterans are still, relatively young, I'd say 60 years old around there. And you can still talk to them about it, and you can get their opinion on it. And then the interesting thing to me is if you talk about it, then you can come back and page to this book and say, oh, 1966, this area. Oh, he was there, Book is great. It's a large book too. I think I call it a table book or a coffee table book or something. But the photographs in the book are amazing. There's just some moving images, some sad images, images of pride and victory and technology. The only thing is how people have utilized technology for some of these disturbing acts that occurred back in the day. They still occur all around the world. It makes you wonder what kind of person woke up in the morning and decided to create this gun that fires 6,000 bullets a minute. Don't know. Don't know who would do that. This is a very good book. You can locate it at Ollie's. The cover is kind of jacked up because I kind of had it on lower shelf, and my cat likes to scratch it. The last book here I'll review is called The Majestic 12. I have a hardcover copy. It's by Master Sergeant Jack W. Lynch, United States Marine Corps retired, with Rick Lynch. In the beginning of the book, I was impressed. In the beginning of the book, it talks about a Marine escort unit. They have to escort Army personnel and other personnel all throughout Iraq and Baghdad in the most dangerous sections of town, and they have to fend for themselves and obtain their own vehicles, weapons, and everything, and barter. Getting further on into the book, it starts to become a book that I can't believe the Marine Corps, I certainly don't think they would endorse it. It becomes a story of all wanton violence, killing, and how they're proud of what they've done. Now, I understand this as justifiable actions. They had to engage the enemy several times in the book, but there are several incidents where the innocents and non-combatants were harmed, and they do not take a U.S. Army approach to the matter, where they want to protect the civilians and win their hearts and minds. It seems like they caused a lot of problems for the United States Army when they were there, because they went out and they just stirred up the hornet's nest. So when they were out on their missions, escorting, doing this, the U.S. Army would have to go out on a routine patrol, and then they would get hit because these guys were erratic with their weapons and such. And the disrespect to Army personnel in the book is shocking to me, the way they talk to Army officers and Air Force personnel. And the disrespect towards female members of the military in the book is downright shocking too. It's just the way they talk about female Air Force personnel and stuff. It's a strange book. I mean, this is a book that you do not want somebody who's on the fence about our stance against domestic terrorism, global terrorism, Islamic extremists. If somebody's on the fence about that, they're confused to begin with, but you don't want them to get this book, because this book will give the image of American troops as these all-out wanton killers. That's not the case. It's not the case at all. The military is there to help the people, protect the people. I didn't expect this book to be about just killing. It seems like they took the dark aspect of what happened, the reality that everybody knew was possible, and it's just magnified it and glorified it, and it must be the mindset. I don't know, but either way, if you're interested in this book, you can have it for free. Other than that, though, the other two I have here to loan out if anybody wants to borrow them: the Vietnam Complete Photographic History and All on Pennsylvania's Lincoln Highway. And I'll be coming at you with some more books to review. I gotta get my reading up to par here. I'm falling behind, but we'll get some more books out there and do some reviews and see what you guys think. And hopefully I haven't made too much of a fool of myself here, guys. Have a good day.